Khamzat Chimaev is the wolf and the goat. That's the topic of today's message. We've been away for about a week and a half. We had to just recover from the excitement and celebration of Khamzat Chimaev becoming the new middleweight champion. It's something we told you from the beginning would happen, and when it finally did, it was sheer pandemonium. We're going to get into this topic and more next.
Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location. This is the TCMMA Podcast with your host, Chris Cross.
Whoa!
Dana White privilege.
Let's go, baby! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go, baby!
Dana White privilege. Privilege.
What up, what up? This your boy Chris Cross checking in. This is the TC MMA podcast, and we've been gone for a little bit. Had to recover, had to calm down, get a bunch of predictions in. We had UFC Shanghai this past weekend, kicking off at 3 a.m. And still tired from that. But now we got a little bit of calm. No UFC this week. You got Labor Day weekend approaching, but we do have back-to-back Contender Series fights coming up on Tuesday night. So we at least got some UFC. Football is getting ready to kick off. The sports world is about to go crazy for the next 5 or 6 months. And it's just, the fall is one of the best times of the year for sports. You got football, you got UFC, and when I say football, that's like equal to like 5 sports. I mean, there's football on every day of the week at this point. So things are going to get ready to heat up, but we got a little break in action from the UFC. So it gives us time to reflect on Khamzat Chimaev. We're going to get involved in the Q&A here later toward the end of the podcast, so stay tuned for that. But, we have to gloat a little bit. I said I wouldn't do it, but I got to. I mean, we had to wait for a long time, but we did tell you from day one what would happen.
Like we told y'all from day one in 2019.
Yeah, from 2019. Told y'all from day one. And then, we had a lot of Khamzat fans, but as he missed weight, as he pulled out of fights for being ill, as he had 2 close fights against Usman and Burns, some people shifted sides, but not me and you.
We had to hear crap for 6 years, man.
I mean, it's out of control.
We had to hear crap for 6 years, man.
For 6 years, we had to hear it. We had to hear it. So you can imagine that when he finally won the belt, just sheer pandemonium.
And no!
Yeah. That moment right there is the height of the UFC for me. Because we really believed in this guy through all of it. And I mean all of it. I mean, we took a lot of criticism. Khamzat fans kind of were still there, but they slid to the back. Everybody got a little worried. Not worried like he's going to lose, but worried like, why is this taking so long? Then, of course, we touched on it with the Biden administration not letting him in the country. Trump gets in, and 4 months later, he wins the belt. Maybe 6 months, but, pretty quickly, because it usually takes about 5 to 6 months for a fight to happen once they start talking about it. Khamzat Chimaev has jumped all the way up to number 4 in the pound-for-pound rankings. These are the official rankings, and those rankings are what have you done for me lately. It's kind of a snapshot right now, but really a look in the past. So we've always had to-do lists, which we look at as forward-thinking. That's why Khamzat has been at number 1 for about 4 or 5 years now. And we had a chance to update it after everything calmed down. Of course, we still got Khamzat number 1. We get Ilia Topuria number 2. If there's no Khamzat, Ilia Topuria is the guy. Islam Makhachev obviously right there as well. And then we start to break from the pound-for-pound rankings, right? We got Shavkat Rakhmonov because we're forward looking at this, and we think Shavkat could potentially be the future of that division. But now with Islam in there, that's going to eventually, if Islam beats JDM, who's down at number 10, that could eventually be a huge fight. I mean, a huge fight. Then Tom Aspinall, heavyweight champ at number 5. No John Jones anymore. Merab, obviously at number 6. As far as I'm concerned, he's going to destroy Corey Sandhagen. There's just really no one in that division. You got Pereira still ahead of Ankalaev, and that's because we believe that, something was wrong with him in that first fight. We're going to see an absolute battle at UFC. I think it's 320 or 321. I'm pretty sure it's 320 though. I have to look that up, but it's coming, and it's going to be a close fight. But Pereira's going to be 100% for that fight. Then you got Pantoja, obviously a bad dude at number 8. He could very easily be in the top 5. And yeah, JDM at 10. 11 through 20 gets tricky, and there's some guys that should probably be on this list that we got to really look at. But Volkanovski at 11, he's the champ. Dricus du Plessis fell to 12, and everybody's overlooking him now. We'll get to that in the Q&A. You'll see why. As if now Dricus is not good, even though before they told you how great he was. After the Robert Whittaker loss to Khamzat, Robert Whittaker's not that good, but before he's really good. You got all the storyline stays the same. Ian Machado Gary up there at 13. He's got to do some things though. But he's only lost to Shavkat really, and Shavkat's way up there, so you can't take Gary down too far. And then you got a string of women fighters, right? Nunes and Harrison at 14 and 15. When they schedule that, that's going to be awesome. Aljamain Sterling winning this past weekend. He's kind of the odd man out in this dude list because we don't really know what he's going to do. It's a tough division. Lerone Murphy's probably going to be fighting for the title next. Lerone Murphy should be in this. Movsar Evloev beat Sterling, but Sterling's just going to get better and better in this division. So those are two guys, Murphy and Evloev, that should be on this list probably, but it gets difficult. Zhang Weili, you got to put in there for obvious reasons. Valentina Shevchenko, you got to keep in there. Joshua Van's going to be fighting Pantoja. There's a chance that he could win that fight. Highly unlikely, but there's a chance. And then Yuri. Yuri's sitting at 20. I still believe in this guy, right? Yuri sneaking in at 20, but easily could be Murphy, easily could be Evloev. There's a lot of guys in the honorable mention that make it very difficult. And I know when you look at this, everyone's going to have their own opinion, and you should, because it's that close when you start looking at the top 20. And remember, this is forward thinking combined with my favorite fighters. And sometimes when you're looking at your favorite team, you're biased a little bit. So the list is obviously a little biased in the sense that I'm trying to look forward and tell you what's going to happen, right? The pound for pound list is more like, okay, you won this past week, we're going to move you up. But that has nothing to do with the future. That's right now. The do list has more to do with who my favorite fighters are and looking forward, not in the rear. So that's where we're at with the do list. So, time is going to tell. But right now, it's just an exciting time to be a UFC fan. Khamzat Chimaev won the belt. There's going to be people trying to discredit it, but we don't really care because the chances of him losing his next fight are slim to none. But just to mess around, let's just say by some miracle he did. At the end of the day, what I told you would happen has happened. Everything else now is a bonus. I told you he would win the title. I told you he would win 3 belts, but that was assuming that he would win the welterweight first, but then they wouldn't let him in the country, then he can't make weight, and then, that's by the wayside. So for that to happen now, they keep talking about welterweight, but Khamzat's not ever going down to welterweight. He'd have to win the heavyweight belt to be a 3-belt champ. And right now you got Topuria really on the hunt to be the first one to do that. He'll have to beat Islam Makhachev or JDM if he wins in the welterweight division. So Topuria is on the hunt, and he's a bad dude who, if he faces Islam, I don't know. But if he faces anyone else in a welterweight, I think he's going to pull it out. So that's, but that's really a stretch, man. That's a 20-pound difference in weight classes all the way from, the bottom division to the top that he would have to win. But he's already got 2. So anything is possible. So let's jump into the Q&A. This is what people were saying. I'm going to warn you now. It's a little bit all over the place, but the majority of it is talking about Khamzat Chimaev. All right, so let's get into it. Beginning with Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat. The majority of it will be on this. There'll be a few others, but Zhangzhou, I believe it says, man, it was a long time. I subscribed to your channel around Khamzat's debut at Fight Island. Man, that's a long time ago, 2019 roughly. I hope we can all realize our positive goals just as Khamzat was able to. Amazing how time separates winners from losers. Wish everyone on here the best. Just a great comment. It's true. if we could all realize our goals like he set out to do. And you think about what he went through with during the pandemic, and he had to pull out of a fight there. He got really sick. He tried to train through being sick, which made it worse for obvious reasons. But eventually, uh, at the end of the day, he pulled through, and then didn't make weight against Diaz, and everybody's on him. Then he had to pull out of Robert Whittaker when he went to the hospital. Had the two close fights against Usman and Burns, so he went through some trials for sure. But at the end of the day, became the champ. MG says, yes, you did tell them all years ago, brother, and I appreciate the backup now for sure, because for 6 years we had some backup, but it started to fade towards the end, but we never gave up. At Days says, incredible list. Yeah, talking about the do list. It is incredible, but it's up to interpretation, right? Think about your do list and how it would change. Not people get stuck on pound for pound. How could you put this guy ahead of this guy? Listen, it's my favorite fighters combined with forward-thinking future outlook, which is up to interpretation. King Terzi, let's go. Talking about Khamzat, yes sir. One of the loyal ones from day one as well. Matthew Lloyd, Khamzat does just enough to win, but never a true warrior. So here's the storyline now for Khamzat. So this is what people are going to be saying, right? Oh, he laid on Dricus. This man treated Dricus like a teddy bear, bro. Going into the fight, oh, he's not going to be able to do that to Dricus. Not only did he do it to Dricus, he didn't even finish him, right? He just did it for 25 straight minutes. Oh, he doesn't have a gas tank. He's going to get tired by round 3. Oh, if it goes 5, Dricus is 99% chance to win. Come on, man. Everybody's tripping. We all knew what was going to happen, but maybe you didn't. Traveler, did you guys notice how Ref Mark Goddard tried helping DDP? When he got them up, Khamzat had good position. Plus, he was busy there. Was no reason for him to get them up. Because the thing is Mark Goddard's in there, and he's like, the people want to see a fight, and Khamzat is just absolutely dominating this thing. Fans are beginning to boo. Dricus fans, not Khamzat fans, are like, lay on him for 25 minutes. We're already 21 minutes into the fight. We don't want to risk it. But Mark Goddard stands him up with like 2 minutes left, and if something would have happened there, the MMA world would have went crazy on both sides. So I'm glad that Khamzat finished that fight, because that was terrible to stand him up. Khamzat was continually pounding away. He had him in a crucifix. He had the back. He was kneeing. He was punching from the side. I mean, it's just, every 3 seconds he was landing something. And it's like, you're going to stand him up? I mean, it's just crazy. That's like, it's just crazy. Matthew Lloyd back. Khamzat good at hugging, safe, but not dangerous. See, and you're just missing the whole thing. If you don't think that's dangerous, imagine most of us in a fight, including myself, which, listen, I'm not fighting anybody. But I'm just saying, if I had my back against the wall and I had to defend myself, I'm a good striker, okay? I've been in the gym hitting the bag over the years, not lately, but I know I can throw strikes. But if someone just goes in for a football tackle and takes me down, I have no idea what I'm doing on the ground. That's the majority of us. Have no clue. So to say Khamzat is not dangerous, if I get stuck fighting a guy in the street because my back is against the wall, he's threatening me, and he comes on the attack, and I land a couple jabs or something, or a big right, and then he just takes me down and is on top of me like in a crucifix or full mount, dude, that's more dangerous than getting hit with a few punches. I feel like I have a chance in that situation, but you take me down, that's dangerous to me. I don't know what you're thinking. Mark says, it seemed like you were rooting for Jeff Neal, or you're just a really good, really cold analyst, laugh out loud. All jokes aside, you're doing a great job. Keep it up. And I think, was I rooting for Jeff Neal? I think we had Jeff Neal to win, and he landed that spinning back elbow or fist or whatever it was. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I was definitely rooting for him. Of course, after the Khamzat fight, everything else faded to the rear. But yeah, I'm always rooting for my prediction 99% of the time. Sometimes I go against the guy I like, and if the guy I like wins and I lose the pick, so be it. But I also got to be realistic in a lot of those situations. But yeah, we had Jeff Neal winning that one for sure. Yuri versus Roundtree at 4 MMA says, hi from Czech Republic. Czechia. Try to say Česko, and it will sound like our country in our language. Or Česká Republika, by the way. I'm going to work on it. I'm gonna work on it. Yuri's evolution is very fast. He will show new, better Yuri again. Believe. I do. That's why he's still in the top 20 on the dude list. You know, but at least he beat Jamal Hill. But there's some guys I don't think he's beaten. At SM Sun says, happy for you, Chris. Good analysis. You're the only one who believes in Khamzat since beginning of his debut in UFC. I mean, for real, the first time I saw him, like, this guy is on a different level, okay? And maybe back then there's some doubt in your head, but then as you see him the second fight and then the third fight within 10 days of each other, and you're like, then you get through fight 4, and there's like been one punch landed on him in the first 4 fights. I mean, no one's ever seen anything like that, nor will we probably ever. Granted, the competition was weak, but you didn't know that you don't know at the time. He's on the way up. We haven't seen it yet. So you go through 4 fights. Imagine you get in 4 fights and only one of those 4 guys hit you once with a jab. That's it. That's total domination on a level that we've never seen. Dana White's Contender Series on deck now. Traveler says Yakyaev is super good, actually. He's originally from Chechnya, just like Chimaev, and he's Aries FC champion. Okay. So those are good things to know. The Contender Series is so difficult to predict. Guys will say all the time, you need to do your research. Well, there's 500 UFC fights a year. There's 50 Contender Series fights a year, which is like the minor leagues. Like if you win that, there's like a 90% chance you're getting into the UFC. Not all of them, but if you KO someone in the first or second round, you're going to the UFC. And we don't know those guys as well. Like we're not watching the 50 promotions under the UFC. So, it takes time to learn these guys. And usually the Contender Series is what makes you say, oh, but those are very tough fights to predict for sure. So try to give me a little slack there. Another one weighing in, Brian T. City Ortega all day. That didn't go well. Aljamain Sterling dominated him. And I feel your pain because I say things like that all the time and I look crazy, So I understand. Pineda versus Dawkins. One weighed in, say great read. Kyle Dawkins looked great in that fight. Matthew Lloyd is back, and that's one that we already read, that he's not dangerous. So it's just crazy. But yeah, that's where things stand right now. We march forward. Who's next for Khamzat? Big fights coming up. Pineda versus Ankalaev. So we have a lot ahead of us, and it's an exciting time to be a UFC fan. We only got more ahead as we approach the holidays and as we wind down the year. It's only August, but we don't have another fight till September. So we got September, October, November, December. It's hard to believe. It feels like it was just January and the season was starting, and now we're already in the last third of the year. It's crazy. But that's what we got. This is your boy Chris Cross. As always, I hope you have a great day, and God bless. Peace.